Well, and as unfortunately, I've got to talk about crime and crime that's being forgotten again by SouthShore12. And they're going to talk about a robbery. Actually, it was a gunpoint robbery that happened here in Farmingdale, of all places. Literally right by Main Street in Farmingdale, Sherman Road and Melville Road. This intersection right here. A postal service worker was robbed. So this has been happening a lot lately. News 12 sort of talked about it, but nothing on News 12 about it. And the only information we have right now is from Laura Uhl. So it says police are on Sherman Road reporting an armed robbery of a postal worker. This was posted yesterday. This is by Melville Road in Farmingdale. The suspect, male, black, displayed a weapon and took off, probably a gun, with a postal keys from the worker. So they steal the postal keys so they can break into the mailbox. They took off in a vehicle, a Toyota Corolla. Police stated there were two suspects inside the vehicle. The chopper is notified, and there is an ongoing investigation. This is being kept from the news because it's not even being reported on News 12 or anywhere else. What does News 12 talk about? You may ask. Well, this is where we have to call South Shore 12 out. Excuse me, I called them News 12. What am I doing? They're actually doing a pretty good job the past couple of days, but they're back to their old habits again. Take a look at what they think their priorities are. So a man exposed himself to a 15-year-old walking by.
Police are searching for a man.
Elmont High School, and that only gets 16 seconds. All right, that only gets 16 seconds. This happened in broad daylight. This person was walking to school on 240th Street around 8 a.m. when the suspect walked in front of her, turned around, and exposed himself. So, again, pretty disgusting. And this happened in Elmont. And again, that's middle of the island, so it's another area in the middle of the island. They don't really care about the middle of the island. So we go to the middle of the island here, and it's one of the numbered streets, so probably over here somewhere. I think it's in this area right here. This is not a nice area at all. It's a pretty bad area, actually. But this is where it happened. Of course, they barely cover it. But instead, just miles away, they decide to spend 2.5 minutes. That's why we got to call them out. Why 2.5 minutes on an intersection in Lynbrook being made over?
Section will be undergoing a major facelift. The money for the undertaking coming from Nassau County. News 12 Cecilia Dowd is live now with changes that are coming.
Of course, that intersection is not that bad. Yet, it's funny how that intersection gets fixed. All right, so this is where the intersection is they're talking about here. This intersection right here where the Regal is, all right? All right, so that intersection gets fixed. Yet we've got this mess in Mineola with this intersection right here. And it's just more example of the favoritism that goes on because, again, Lynbrook is a place where important people live. So we go over here, you'll see this is the mess we have over here. This sloping intersection. It should be fixed. This goes against all. There's no sight lines at all. There's no sidewalk in the tunnel. But no one wants to fix this, right? We don't even have a bridge to cross the tracks from Willis Avenue, and I guess we're never going to get one, right? But Lynbrook, well, those people stop the presses. They're very important.
Cecilia, good evening.
So, there you are.
Good evening. Well, that's right. Confusing, congested, and dangerous. Those are just
some. You should come to Mineola.
Some of the words used to describe this intersection known as the Five Corners of Lynbrook, but it's set to get a makeover, and for some people, that just can't come soon enough.
People have almost got hit trying to cross this way and that way. It's very scary.
You think that's scary? You should come to Mineola.
Confusing intersection. Not only in Macomb, I grew up here. It's been dangerous to cross forever.
This area of Lynbrook, known as the Five Corners, is not an easy one to navigate, some say.
You have some streets that are one way, some streets are two ways. We've got turn signals without turning arrows. It becomes very congested around rush hour.
It's very important.
There have been 94 accidents here over the past 5 years, according to Lynbrook PD, including 2 pedestrian deaths. Russ Posner comes here to see a movie weekly.
It's very confusing here. The cars are coming from all over.
Cars are coming from all over. Well, let's take a look at another intersection in Mineola where cars are coming from all over. This intersection here, which is also very dangerous, all right, because you have this crossing here. This street goes right by this street here. There's somebody in a wheelchair who has to navigate this, but I guess he doesn't count, right? He doesn't count, right? And what about by Roosevelt Field? where it's very pedestrian unfriendly. I mean, you go by the mall and, I mean, try crossing the street over here. This is a million times worse than Lynbrook, but I guess nobody really cares about this, right? No, because it's in the middle of the island. Back to the important people.
But a new plan is in the works to improve the flow of traffic and make the intersection safer. That includes getting rid of this island, eliminating a crosswalk, and moving others.
The crosswalks are going to be brought only to the intersection, so you'll be crossing from one corner to another or from one corner to another, and you will be seen by all the motorists.
As you can see from the intersection, corners aren't really lined up here. So the correction will be that corners will project.
Corners aren't lined up. We have a lot of that in Mineola.
Right across from each other.
The work is set to include curb extensions and new accessibility ramps.
Our plan also includes installation of the traffic control lights with turn signals so that people will have an arrow to turn with.
The bottom line here, the hope is that the changes make this intersection make more sense to drivers and walkers alike.
It's all about
also,
these
as part
people,
of the plan, legislator Bill Gaylor said they're looking at eliminating a turning lane. The whole point here is to make things smoother and, again, to make things safer. Now, as for a timeline, we're told the work is slated to begin in the spring or summer of 2025 and last 6 to 9 months. Reporting from Lynbrook, Cecilia.
That's probably going to cause disruptions on the N25. But hey, you know, I mean, they get everything, right? Whereas in Mineola, we get the shit, right? We don't get anything nice here. All right? Just because, right? So, all the things that News 12 forgot about, let's go briefly over here because we've had a lot of things here that have gone on here. All right, we've got a lot of things that have happened here. Oh, massage parlor raid, they didn't even cover that. And of course, Franklin Square, not surprised. That's another area in the middle of the island that's being ruined. All right. Another area in the middle of the island is being ruined. Not surprising at all. You know, let's go to the burglars smash and grab at a deli in Uniondale. That wasn't covered. And there's just so much stuff going on. Here we go. And then this happened. News 12 did cover this because it happened in East Hampton, which is an enclave. But it's kind of funny. So 4 women stole from a TJ Maxx, crashed into a police car. So they fled from the police, right? You flee from the police, you think you're going to spend the night in jail? No. Look at what it says here. All right? All 4 were processed at police headquarters in Hampton Bays and released with desk appearance tickets. That's bail reform for you. That's courtesy of our governor right there in our state government, which, again, doesn't represent the people of New York State. They represent New York City. And this is why I think we need a change in the way the state is run. I think that the city has way too much power over this state. But anyway, you can see here, this is what we got, bail reform. So that's the kind of crime you get when you have bail reform, all right? And we go over here, look at all the crimes here going on. I'm not reading every single one of them. I'm just pointing out all the crime that's going on that SouthShore12 isn't covering. All right, all the stuff that they should be covering that they're not covering. And it's always like this with News 12. Always SouthShore12. Long Island one is always like this. Now it's interesting. See, 2 men and women stole $45,000 worth of merchandise from Medford TJ Maxx, but that only got 26 seconds because that's not in an enclave, so that's not important. I'm surprised they only spent 18 seconds on this, but this just goes to prove my point. Belmore Merrick Central High School District named College Board AP District of the Year. It's becoming a very coveted enclave. Now they're trying to compete, get up there with all the North Shore districts now. All right, so let's take a look at News 12 New Jersey because they actually talk about stuff that affects regular people. NJ Transit, tar balls, a very bad accident near the Freehold Raceway Mall. See, they cover actual, I don't know what it is with it's just the Long Island one that's like this. Even Westchester. This is the last one I'm going to play for you, but this is something that really should happen on Long Island. I'm going to make a post about this too. See, Long Island's News 12 Long Island would never, ever do an extensive story on bus riders. Very rarely. But look at Westchester, what they're doing. So, once again, they're offering free bus rides in Westchester County.
Project, by the way, was made possible all in part of a state grant now secured by former state Senator Elijah Reichlin-Melnick.
Why don't we get a state grant?
Well, a holiday break for Beeline bus riders. Rides will be free again starting next weekend. News 12's Lisa LaRocca has more on this story from the White Plains Transit Center.
Listen, you don't need me to tell you this is an expensive time of year, but Beeline bus riders are getting an early gift in their stockings that just might help.
Good news for me, and I save a lot of money for these holidays.
Gives us a little treat. It's like a little present, Christmas gift. Yeah. And we're fortunate, we're grateful for it.
Beeline bus riders at the White Plains Transit Center were happy to find out that for 2 weeks, they'll be able to ride the bus for free.
Wow.
It's a blessing that for just...
See, this is excellent because this is exactly the kind of stuff we need to be doing on Long Island to get people out of their cars. But is Bruce Blakeman listening? Is Steve Ballone listening? No. Hopefully Ed Romaine will think of things like this to do.
Even if it's just a day or two, it's that we don't have to pay.
Beginning December 16th, Beeline bus fares will be suspended through January 1st. The free fare will also apply to the county's paratransit system. This is the second year in a row that Westchester County officials are offering the holiday deal. They say ending the year with a surplus in the county budget makes it possible.
We're very happy to make this a freebie over the course of the 2 weeks right around the holiday season. This will fall into the Kwanzaa season as well, and leading up to New Year's Eve.
Bus fare was also suspended this past summer, and county officials say they saw an increase in ridership during that time.
Yeah.
According to Westchester transportation officials, more than 27 million people use the Beeline bus system annually, making it the second largest number of riders in New York State.
I don't know. They might actually carry more than Nice Bus.
Only behind New York City's bus system. So this break,
so they actually do carry more than Nice Bus.
Affects a lot of folks.
So it's good discount because now we pay more money for food, for everything.
So don't forget, the free Beeline bus rides run from December 16th through January 1st. We're in White Plains.
Excellent. Great, I wish Westchester had Pine Barrens. It's a lot better. It's a lot better run place than Long Island. But hey, there you go. Just showing you what's going on across the area. And once again, SouthShore12 showing who they gear to once again. I mean, it's so obvious. Lynbrook. That did not need a 2.5-minute segment. Just because it's Lynbrook. Just because a lot of white people who work on Wall Street live there, so it gets a 2-minute and 30 seconds while some poor girl in Elmont who was probably frightened after what happened to her, well, she's not even worth 20 seconds. It's unbelievable. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching.